In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the perfect product page for your brand to get your visitors hooked on your product. If you want to know how to create your perfect product page and you are unsure, you can go ahead and book a consulting call with the link down below. Let's jump right into it. So, product page, the most important page of your online store, except for the checkout, right? So this is where all of the magic happens. This is where you have the most important button, which is the Add to Cart button. And this is where you can actually showcase your product that you have worked so long on. Okay, what's important to know and to do? First thing that's important to know is that, as with any page on your online store, that the top of the product page is the most important screen real estate, as I always compare it to, kind of like whenever you buy land, there's cheaper land because it's far more out in the land, or there's more expensive properties that are in the city just because more people are there. Same goes with an online store and with a product page. Everybody gets to see the first part of it because they just click on your link and that's where they're going to land. So without any interaction, this is what they get to see. And this first part has the most important job. It's because this part has to make the visitor interact with your product page. Of course, if we have a look at mobile, right, the heavy lifting here always has to do the image, right? So the image basically sells, that's a no-brainer. But we shouldn't let the image do all of the heavy lifting. So how can we achieve that? There are various ways to go around it. For example, in this case, for this brand, what I've done is I have put the product title, the price, and the reviews on top of the image. In their case, that's quite important because they have different colors. So it makes sense whenever you switch around colors, or different variants in your case maybe, that they get to see the price because it might vary, and the name of it. And you see, without me doing anything, I already get a glance of the most important information, which is for them the color description, because this is at the end of the day what all of these different shoes are about, because they're the same shoe but with different color. So the first step I have to do is I have to choose the correct color. Okay, so this is why this text is right there without you actually having to scroll on your phone or your mouse wheel on your laptop. For example, in the case of, let's say, a jewelry brand, that might look a bit different. Here it's way more about the imagery and basically all of the different styles and looks. So here it makes sense to have the image first. So this is what you have to establish in the beginning. What's the most important part to show about the product towards your visitors to get them hooked on it? So again, this is the top part. Let's continue. So of course, what you always should do is have the Add to Cart button as far on top as possible. I mean, let's not be ridiculous and just put it as the first element. Never do that. But as soon as all of the important information has been out of the way, just implement the Add to Cart button, right? And also only implement one Add to Cart button. Why is that? Because, for example, in the case of Shopify, they also offer this Shop Pay button. That's kind of like a dynamic checkout, or Google Pay, Apple Pay. These buttons really only make sense on very high ticket items. I'm talking about $400 or $500 upwards. If your product is below that threshold, don't use a dynamic checkout button, because there are two issues with that. First thing is you're going to give your visitor an option what to do now. Should I do this or should I do that? Let me think about it and come back. Maybe never. That's the first thing. The second thing is your average order value. If you, with that dynamic checkout button, direct someone straight to checkout, you're going to be like, yeah, but this is better because they're going directly to checkout. Yes, but if your products, let's say, especially if it comes to jewelry, lives on average order value, so that they should at least purchase 2 or 3 items. Also, for you to make sense to actually ship it, especially if you offer free shipping. For example, many brands have a free shipping threshold, right? Like $75 or $200. So you really want to make your potential customer reach that threshold. This is why you should have an add to cart button instead of a buy now button. And again, if your product is more of a high ticket item, then it makes sense to put them directly to checkout. So much to the most important button. Now, I've talked about this in another video, which you can have a look right there, which is about floating text. So now we have to implement some kind of text, some kind of description about what your product is about. Don't do the mistake and try to implement basically everything into one big text or like big chunks of text, because nobody's going to read through it. The attention span is very, very low. So we have to make sure, if we actually got someone to interact with our site, to not lose interest, okay? Because they've already seen the image. So we have to capture the attention. If you are above that hill, you have almost made the purchase, because now they're interested. So what you do is, if you have already a big floating text, take it and section it as much as possible. For example, in the case of Cherryx, they have small color description, then a few unique selling points about the transaction as per se, and right underneath what the product is about, how I can use it. You have to answer the most important questions. Why is it better than others? How can I use it? And answer any basically fears someone would have. Yeah, but maybe it doesn't fit with my outfit. Maybe I would have to buy several pairs. Or for example, in the case of jewelry, right? I mean, you might know it as a jewelry brand owner. Tarnish resistant, waterproof jewelry. Is the jewelry basically, or is that product of good quality? Or maybe you have a product with very unique product features. So you have to show that at the very first glance, and in the ideal case, something in a picture. That's always the best. So what you then can do is I would always recommend implementing these accordions. They're amazing because it shows you, okay, the most important thing about that information. And now there's something very crucial. Your visitor actually has the choice of what they want to read about. So if someone, for example, clicks on the quality guarantee, I'm 95% certain that they're actually going to read through the text, because they made the conscious decision to click on that accordion, on that, for example, in this case, quality guarantee, and now they're going to start to read through it. If you just bombard them with that information, you're going to make, for example, this information is going to make the visitor distract themselves from this information, so that they're not going to read through it, which is why it's so important to hide all of this floating text. And then what you can do is, and this really depends on your product, you could either go ahead and talk about, for example, further use cases or unique selling points if that's necessary, or you can just straight go to your product reviews. Or you may also like sections, so there are like various ways you can go about it. If you have, for example, an Instagram section, I would always recommend implementing that as well, because again, that's kind of like social proof. So yeah, this is basically how I would recommend you to build out your perfect product page. And if you're unsure on how to build your perfect product page, even after this video, you can go ahead and book a consulting call with me with the link down below, where I show you and help you how to build out your specific product page. Thanks a lot for having a look at this quick video, and talk to you soon. Bye.